And the writing was on the wall then and there, if you chose to listen to it. And I don't blame you for not wanting to listen to it. But there was, I think, a resounding show of support from Charlie Jacobs down towards Neely and Sweeney. And nothing there indicated that any changes were afoot in the Bruins front office. And so it has come to pass that today the Bruins have announced a 2-year contract extension for Don Sweeney, who was going into his walk year, going into his contract year. He had 1 year left. So he was under contract for this upcoming season, and the Bruins have decided to extend him another 2 years. That's where we will begin with your thoughts at 617-779-0985. Mazz and Murray alongside from our Townford Tire Studios. What are your thoughts?
Okay, so here's what I would tell you. The extension was inevitable. Okay, it was inevitable. So when I say that, I mean that you don't let a guy go into the final year of his contract. You might as well make him walk the plank. So once they didn't fire him at the end of the season, he was going to be back. They were going to give him an extension. And what I would tell you, if you're a Bruins fan, is this actually is not a worst-case scenario. In fact, there's a little bit of good news in here, and I'll emphasize little bit. And that's this. 2 years isn't much. So I look at a 2-year extension and I say, Sweeney better watch it. A year from now, he might be toast. So it's a shorter financial commitment from which the Bruins can relatively easily extricate themselves. If Sweeney were doing a good job, they'd have given him 3 years. They might have given him 5. Who the hell knows? 2 years for an executive who is overseeing the operation, in my opinion, isn't much. And so I think that he was effectively given a little bit of a warning today. And I don't know, maybe he went in. I put it this way. Don Sweeney did not go to the negotiating table looking for a 2-year extension. I guarantee you that.
But you understand why this feels like a slap in the face to the Fire Sweeney crowd, that he got an extension in the first place. So you say inevitable. For me, the man is the gold standard for being someone who should probably have lost his job like 3 times over, but still gets extensions and feels like he's entrenched in this job forever.
So I agree.
And Mazz, they could have let him go into his walk year. If I'm not mistaken, did he go into his walk year the previous time?
I don't remember.
I seem to remember something like that. I know they let Montgomery do it last year.
Yeah, they did.
Stupidly.
But in retrospect, might that have been Montgomery's choice?
Well, yeah. I mean, clearly Montgomery felt he had something better in his back pocket, but if the Bruins had matched the Blues' offer, I think he probably would have signed. I don't know. But they let him do it. I mean, they could have let Montgomery go last year when they didn't extend him. So I don't know, Mazz. It's somewhere in the middle. I mean, it's certainly, if they're hiring a new GM and starting over with the best they can find, the best name on the market, that guy's not coming in for a 2-year extension. So I think you're partly there, but I also think they believe in him, and that I think says all we need to know about the motivations of the Bruins organization. They are not championship driven; they are playoff driven, and that's what they've always been. And I think that's what today's news tells us once again, because I think Don Sweeney is a playoff caliber general manager. I don't think he's terrible. I think he's okay, not great. I think he's good enough to get you above the 16th mark in the league, and I'd probably stay there, but that's about it. And Charlie Jacobs said it right there. Data-driven analysis. I mean, it's not really a deep dive on the data that they made the playoffs in whatever this is, 9 of his 10 years, 8 of his 9 years, and that he has the best regular season record since he took over, or tied for it anyway. That's pretty surface-level data, but it is the data. So based on that, you say he's proven, and when he took over, they were out of the playoffs. And next thing you know, they made the playoffs in 8 of the 10 years or whatever, because they did miss it his first year, and now they missed it just this last. But they were a year in, year out playoff team, one of the better regular season teams in hockey, and that's what the track record shows. And they're bringing him back, and so what am I led to believe? It's all they want.
Well, so that part, again, I'm not disputing that part of the story. I'm just saying I think that a lot of Bruins fans are probably reacting as like, how do they give this guy an extension? And I would tell you, I think that was decided already.
Well, I mean, let me tell you why they did it. I think they'd be more than happy to let him go into his contract year in a vacuum. And again, I'm going to look up whether they did that once before with him. They did it because they're about to hire a coach. And you can't give a coach a 1-year contract. You're going to give the coach probably 3 years at the least, if not, maybe you get away with 2 if he really sucks. But you're not going to get away with anything less than 3. So you sign a coach for 3 and you have a GM on the under contract for 1, you're really asking for trouble. You're asking for, because, it's hard for them to
The coach has more power than the GM.
Yeah, it's right. Exactly. That the GM's the first to go, and that even if Don Sweeney hires the guy, that you're just sort of setting up infighting and backstabbing and them not joined at the hip. So the GM and the coach pretty much have to be linked up contract-wise or close enough. They both have to be on longer-term deals. You can't have one guy up in a year and the coach up in 3, because that's just not. Now you're asking for it. Now you're going to start over. So then what you're setting up is you've signed the coach for 3, which means you're going to give him at least 2 unless it's like Dave Lewis ridiculous. But Sweeney might be done after 1. Now you hire a new GM who has to inherit the coach. Like, that's all just not how you do it. So you join him at the hip. They're about to hire the coach. I wouldn't be surprised if it comes as early as tomorrow, early this week. You'll see that the coach will have a 3-year contract. It'll be Sweeney's guy. Sweeney will have 3 years left. The coach will have 3 years left. And the way this works is they'll probably get 2 to prove themselves.
Right, that's exactly it. 2 years.
And then they'll both be gone if it doesn't work. And this is Sweeney's last coaching hire, I think. Who knows with this group? Harry Sinden was allowed to hire and fire like 12 coaches. So, but that's why I think they did this. They're about to hire the coach. They had to give the coach 3 years, and so they want to sync him up. And that's why they're doing it. But I also think that they believe in him. On top of it all, they believe in the guy. And you could hear it there in that press conference. And they believe in him to do what they really want. Win regular season games, get in the postseason consistently every year, give us home playoff dates. And the cup is nice, but not really what we're about. And that's what I think the Bruins have been most of my entire life. And that's what they still are.
Well, they're definitely that. Like, I don't dispute that part of it. The only thing about letting them go into the final year, so you're going to start a rebuild. You've got draft picks now, and you're going to go on the free agent market and let a guy make the decisions who could get fired during the year at the end of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, right.
So you might as well just fire him now.
Right.
So once we got, this is my only point. Once we got past that press conference, he was staying.
Oh, yeah.
He was staying. That part, the idea that he was going to get fired today instead of extended, it was going to be one or the other. Because otherwise, why keep him? Out. See you later. We don't think you can do it. We don't trust you to do it. You're gone. So all I'm saying is I would take, again, some level of satisfaction, or that it's only 2 years. Like, that to me expresses some doubt on the part of the Bruins. And if I were my guess is I bet you Neely even went in on Sweeney's behalf and said, well, I was thinking of giving him a 3-year extension. And Jacobs might have said,
I still just don't understand why you couldn't have him play out like a walk year, for lack of a better term. This extension, again, if you just re-upped, I heard from 2 buddies, I'm like, I wish I didn't re-up my tickets now, like hearing this news. And that might be a little bit drastic, but I think a lot of people are pissed. I was pissed seeing this. Like, come on, this is gross.
This was an opportunity for them to, quote unquote, blow it up and start over.
Sure.
With a whole new chief executive, with a whole new vision to hire his coach and start over in his image, with his philosophy, and truly turn the page and start over. And they are not doing it. And not even really close. They're just swapping out the coach, which they have been doing, again, my entire life as a Bruins fan. So it really is just the status quo. Beyond the extension for Don Sweeney, the whole philosophy, the whole belief system, the whole thing that they're after, which is what Don Sweeney, they think certainly can provide. Stability and year in, year out playoff qualification. That's it. After that, if they don't go as far as they want in the playoffs, they'll fire the coach. But for the most part, that's where they are as an organization. That's where they've always been. It's proven. Don Sweeney, great regular season general manager. You just want to go based on purely on the data, as Charlie Jacobs said. Yeah. Playoffs? I ask you, what would they be without the Toronto Maple Leafs?
Right.
Just look at it.
They'd be the Maple Leafs.
Just think about it. What would he or they be without the Leafs?
If you like that clip, check out more videos from Felger and Mazz here. For more Bruins analysis and opinion, hit this playlist. And for all the latest from the Sports Hub, download the app at 985thesportshub.com.